waiting. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Cut the Shit, Cue the Genius show, where you are the geniuses. And we just facilitate your amazing powers. This week's episode is one that is truly special. They all are, but this one is because obviously, as you know, and probably read on LinkedIn and on social media, we have a lot of amazing and powerful event profs that are either have been laid off or have decided to take a new journey. So this is all about adventures. We're not talking about like finding a job and stuff like that. We want you to find your new adventure, your new journey. And we really think that, you know, between the three of us, because we all are in different mindsets always, that we are actually pretty good at guiding people, or even, you know, just giving tips in regards to how do you look for a new adventure? How do you look for your new stomping ground, if you will? Joe, very nice to see you and that you made it. So you found the link. That is absolutely fantastic. But we want to lean hard on our audience and our listeners to help those that are also looking for their new adventures. So we're going to start off with, let's talk about the interviewing process. And Bruno, I'm going to pick on you because, like, I know that you went solo quite a while ago, right? But you're also tapped into what's happening at the moment and so forth, the styles, and you hear, like, you know, how grueling some of these interview processes are. So give us just three very random or very out of the box ideas when someone is going in to interview. What the heck should they do other than dress properly and all of that, or like their Zoom is on and maybe put the makeup, you know, filter on or whatever?
Okay. Tip number one is don't cry during the interview. I have done that. The interviewer this was many millions of years ago. The interviewer just kept asking me, you know, what was it about, you know, your last job or, you know, stuff like that. And in my last job before that was our family business, which my mom sold. There was a lot of emotion attached to it. And I could not stop the waterfall of tears. So needless to say, I did not get that job. I think she thought, you know,
Too
what the hell
emotional for me.
is wrong with this woman? Yeah, we don't have enough in our whatever fund for mental illness help. The second thing is try and find someone else that's already interviewed for the company, because a lot of times companies have this sort of set way that they do it. Like sometimes they do a group interview. This also comes from experience. The one job I had in the last 20 years, where, you know, we went in, talked to a main manager, then went to a group, and then like solved a puzzle or something. I don't know. Like they put a bunch of like phrases on a board, and then we had to like say what they were. And at the time, it was really sort of pre a lot of technology, and some of the phrases were, "What's a download?" in terms of an ad agency, and I'm thinking, I don't have any effing idea at the time, like a download. And so, yeah, finding someone that has interviewed with that company, which is probably a lot easier now through Glassdoor or, you know, some of the online, you know, review sites, to find out like what's their mode. Later, when I actually got the job, I was on one of the group interview committees, and that was also an interesting experience. Number three, I think it's always better to not overdress, but definitely dress one notch up. Like in ad agencies, they freaking wear pajamas to work. So, you know, I wouldn't suggest like that sort of uber casual look, because I don't know. I'm a little bit old school compared to you ladies. I would at least wear, something clean, wrinkle-free, and not, work pajamas, no sweats and stuff, because I know people do wear that. They don't teach, I think, in schools anymore,
Right.
how to interview.
Yeah.
So the young people, if they didn't go to college and they're just interviewing straight out of high school, I don't think they really have any idea like what's sort of that level of etiquette. So those are the three off the top of my head things.
I mean,
Oh, I'm all confused. Sorry, guys.
All right. Hello. Lauren
see
says
people.
hello. So how many hellos? Are we back? Melanie says we're back. Melanie, I hope you're feeling better. Sean, everybody's okay. Confetti guns. We did it. You guys just went through a tech, whatever, malfunction. High five to all of you. You all have jobs in the IT department for Dahlia Plus agency. There you go. We're all good. It was actually not from our side, nobody's side. We're all good. But having the audience still be waiting around for us, I think that's kind of epic. So, all right. So we're back at how do you find your next adventure? And I was just talking to Bruno about in regards to with your next adventure, what if you do something different? What if you really focus on a couple of the companies that you have been seeking out or researching, whether through Glassdoor, through conversations with other peers, asking on those that work there via LinkedIn, and you're very, very passionate about it, and you write your own job description. You go in and the interview kind of flipped. You know what the company's all about. You know the markets that they're going after or the clients that they have. And you already know what kind of companies you want to be part of, what kind of culture you want to be part of. And you put that job description together where you come to the table and say, this is what I can do for you. Don't throw at me Google Sheets because that's a Liz thing. That's not a Dahlia thing. All right. Don't throw at me that I'm like the prime project manager of anything because not really my thing. That's a Vivian thing. Don't throw at me like, using words in magical senses because that's a Bruno thing, right? And so you go in and you say, this is exactly what I can deliver for you. It sets certain expectations. It actually could carve you a new position. But it's like you coming in and becoming your own entrepreneur within this company. You are like then, part of that brand. You are part of that mission, part of that goal, but you're not given something that you don't want to be part of. What I see happen is you go for a job interview, you're going in for a marketing position. All of a sudden they say, well, now you're going to do sales. Nobody's happy. You're like ugly crying every single night. So this is where I want like those that are really seeking their next position, either go at it from like, let me start first as a contractor with you just to feel it out, because it could be shiny from the outside and really muddy from the inside kind of thing, or go in with a solid plan of this is what I can do for you. Don't give me anything else. I will not perform my best in these little other assignments you're giving me. Is that wrong to think that way?
No, I think this is the mature you talking. I think, when I think back when I was interviewing and it wasn't the mature me that I am now, I would never have the balls to do that. I would just like wait for the question, think of a clever answer, and run. But that's not today. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the key to that is knowing what your thing is, like you, and
Liz,
that's
unmute.
part of.
No, Liz is not on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
Sorry. So weird. I don't know what's going on.
Uh-oh.
I was just saying, you can hear me, right? I was saying it depends on that. that depends on knowing what your thing is, you know, like that's maybe what makes it a mature thing, is knowing what you bring to the table, where your value is. I think a lot of people don't spend enough time doing that. You know, my career actually started in a career center, watching all these people come back to Columbia University, alumni and students, trying to figure out, how do I get that next job? And the big thing was, take some time and think about what you really want to do. Think about what you're really good at, and then start lining up. And this is something they pitched all the time. Come up with your ideal position at the ideal company, and you go to them and tell them, this is where I can really provide value. This is where I see that you're just, something's not working well for you, or you don't have the resources to get where you want to be. And I know I can help you do that. But a lot of people are just like looking for job listings online, clicking, hoping something sticks. And, you know, I guess the efficient mind that I have, I'm like, why are you wasting all your time doing the same thing everyone else is doing? You're going to spend way more time doing that than you will just targeting a few companies and really taking the time to do a little self-reflection and figure out what you really want in life.
Right. So we have a question here. Laura says, loves the idea of pitching yourself. I have been doing this. The response has been, I am overqualified for the position. Thoughts? So Laura, if you don't mind sharing, or if you want to get here on stage, come on up, not down, as they say, but we can definitely like beam you in if you want to do that. I would love
I don't get why that's a bad thing.
Being overqualified?
Right. I don't understand why.
I was just going to say that.
That means they don't have the budget.
Wouldn't love that. I would.
Yeah.
You know, if I were an employer, I would love that. I would, you know, do my best after that to, you know, bring more opportunities to that person. I feel like I was getting a deal, you know. So I don't know that it's true. What is it, just that back in the day, overqualified people would not be happy and leave?
Yeah. You know? Laura says it's not a bad thing, but it does mean they don't have the budget. So my question, or my answer to you then is, and Melanie says it's the salary. So it is a matter of money. It could be two things. It's either a matter of money, or it's a matter of there is someone else that is not as qualified, or I would say underqualified, that is in a higher position or is in a gatekeeping type of position and does not want someone to come and take their piece of the pie, if you know what I mean. So my thoughts on that is, and Vivian, if we can bring Laura in, that would be fantastic. But my thoughts on that is a couple of things. Then strike the deal or have the conversation on the salary that you're going to start with, and then the amount of time it's going to take you to prove yourself in the position and in the responsibilities that you're taking over, and what that would mean when they have to pay you for that, if that makes sense. So the whole idea of, oh, you're overqualified. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Well, welcome. But I'll just finish my thought is the whole idea or the discussion about you're overqualified. Either we don't have the money for it, then you sort of put that plan together of the payment, because the payment is going to be attached to the accomplishments. Just make sure that you have realistic timeline in place and in space where you are showing what you can do for them, so that you don't fall flat and they actually do give you, you know, that compensation, etc. The biggest thing is trying to get the buy-in and be, you know, friends with that person or those people that are potentially maybe the gatekeepers of their own position as well. But Laura, tell us your story or your thoughts as well.
Sure. So great to see you, Dahlia and Michelle. Thanks. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Super happy that Connie directed me your way yesterday afternoon. My current position is that I've left Meet You, and I left there with a leadership role. And as I'm looking for that next adventure, I'm really looking to be an individual contributor again. I don't have that need or that want to go back into leadership. And that's what I've expressed to a lot of these companies. And they still look at it as you're overqualified. It's like, well, let me bring all of my years, 20 plus years experience in webinars and events, and let me come in and teach these young people that you're telling me can't sell, many products across the board. Well, my gosh, I've done this. So let me help you. And I'm really trying to impress upon that. I had one interview that I went from the HR person to 2 interviews with a CEO, and then I presented for 2 hours to a board of directors, and I still didn't get it. And it was because I was overqualified. And it was like, what was I missing? So I just, that's been my challenge, is really understanding what, you've got to really understand before going into the interview what they're looking for. And sometimes that can be a challenge. You right. Read the job description, and, the second company I interviewed with, job description was my resume. And I still got that I was overqualified. It was like, this is crazy. So I think it's just that the market is so competitive out there when we're all looking for that next adventure.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a question where, do they really know what they want though?
That's it.
So like, maybe it's them, it's not you. And so to that point, it's, thanks, Sean. Sean is like, often they don't. And so the reality is, maybe it is a blessing that they throw that at you, even though they don't hear you, or like they don't listen to your rationale, because why would you want to be in the company of someone who is not thinking with you, or like, finding you valuable just from the get-go? Because we know how crazy it can be. I mean, Melanie also mentioned it, that it's really, really crazy times. And, some people are just on the hamster wheel right now, even recruitment, and they're just not able to really succinctly say, this is what we want. This is the budget we have. This is what we need to cap it at. And maybe the other part that they really should be sharing is what that mini journey is like internally. If you come into this position, we want you in 3 months to do this. We want you in 6 months to do this. We want you in 9 months to do this, and take over, the younger ones that are coming in. If they think you're overqualified, then show that qualifications and that expertise in hugging and like really, elevating the newbies, if you will, that are in the company, because that's a challenge that I hear that's happening as well, in the sense of you have all these younger, talent that need handholding, and nobody has time to handhold.
That's more of what I've been hearing. It's like, we hired this person and they have no, job ethic, work ethic or whatever. They just want to ski like 3 out of 5 days. They, blah, blah. It's like the other end of the spectrum, yet someone really qualified that should command a salary and can come running, on the ground from day one, is overqualified. So I don't understand that.
Yeah. So Laura, before we have you step off the stage, tell us what your superpower is and what your elevator pitch is.
So my superpower really is, I actually had someone say this to me the last evening. I was speaking with someone that's been in my network for a very long time, and my superpower is really the ability to adapt to any environment that I'm put into. I really want to go in and get to know what's the best way for me to support people and get them organized and get them all moving in the right direction. So organization and, taking on just adaptability really is my superpower. I've done it for years, the last 20 years in my career, going from being an account manager to acquisition sales, being able to just turn on a dime is what I've been able to do for the last 20 years. And so my elevator pitch is truly, I can bring a wealth of experience to your company, my skill set and my, when I look, and this isn't part of my pitch, but when you look at my resume, someone can actually pick and choose what they want me to do, going from being an executive assistant to, all of these other roles I've held. My elevator pitch is, let me help you. I'm here to help you. And that's been my success. And that's how I've stayed, with companies for very long times, 10 years, 6 years, and a lot. You look now and you look at some of the resumes of people and the job experience on LinkedIn, they go from job to job to job to job. That's not me. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to stay. I'm here to stay and take that maturity and that experience to your benefit, and let me help you.
Perfect.
So that's been my pitch.
I love it. So send me your resume and I will send it to a bunch of people that I know that are looking for someone like you.
Thank you, Dahlia. That's awesome. Thank you. And thanks for having me on the stage. I'll give someone else the floor now.
Of course, of course. If anybody in the audience wants to jump on, we would love to have you on. Just raise your hand or say something in the conversation.